both. So for this, I'm using this piece of paper, which is really pretty. And actually I chose the paper because of the pink side. And then when it was all said and done, I ended up using this side. And this is Sale-a-bration paper. This card won't take as long as my first one, so I'll be able to open up some of these things. So this little Sale-a-bration suite thing here, this is some 12 by 12 paper, and it's called Lily Impressions. So if you haven't seen that, then you can also get a stamp and die set that matches the paper. So it's free with the 100, the dies, and I will be doing stuff with those too. I haven't done anything with them yet. And then the stamps are the ones that you can stamp this direction and then you flip it over and you stamp it that way. So I have messed with them. I haven't made a completed, hi Kathy. I haven't made a completed project with them yet, but I will. But this is the paper. It's really pretty. It's like the paper that's in the catalog. I call it the Monet paper. And because I've called it that since it first came out, I can never remember what the real name is. So I'm gonna use that paper. And then, like I said, I chose the whole design of the 2 cards because I did want to use this that says this calls for confetti. But once I realized that I was going to use this and I was going to have enough to do 2 cards, then I pulled out the one that also says, I can't thank you enough. And they're both from this set, and they have stitch dies that are labels, but they're in a bunch of fun shapes. Let me pull them out. Should have marked the pages. Because you get several different sizes. So there's a bunch of fun rectangles, but small. This doesn't quite show you how small they are. And this one's pretty big. So there's some different sizes. The ones we're using here, like this isn't the smallest of them. And that's the one that's gonna fit here. There's one that's a little smaller. So you can see they're kind of tiny all the way up to pretty big. And then this one right here is the one I'm gonna use on this one. So there's some fun shapes. And of course they'll fit on other things besides what's in this stamp set. So I'm gonna just stamp them with some black. I was trying to keep this, like if you're, when you take your supplies someplace and you wanna stamp, then you don't necessarily wanna drag all of your colored inks with you. So this is always a fun thing to do if you are taking supplies, is to just take your black ink, and I'm using Memento because I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends, and you don't want to use your StazOn with blends because it's not good for your blends ink. So I'm just going to stamp these on some Whisper White scrap. And then I'm just going to take my blends, and I just, again, pulled them from the colors that are kind of in the paper. I didn't even bother to get the little thing out to see what colors they were, because just laying them here, you can see that that's going to match pretty well. So just take your brush tip and just kind of brush, swish a color over. And this way it will be like we used colored ink or we used colored paper. So if you're out and you've taken stuff to on vacation or to stamp with friends, then you don't have to take a bunch of colored inks or a bunch of colored papers, because you can just color what you need by just having a few blends. Because the way the blends color, it's not like using the markers or needing a dauber or anything with the ink. So let's cut all this out. And I have the wrong plates in here. If you didn't watch my first live today, and if you haven't heard, you can order plates again. So if your plates are getting all cut up, because I had started writing like top on mine, so I didn't use the bottoms when I didn't need to. But you can order new plates, and I will put the number for those in my email, and I'll try to remember to put it someplace on Facebook too, so you can order those. Because the more cut up they get, the more they can make your paper, especially if you're using foils, look dinged up. So these just take one pass, which is one good thing that we have learned from not being able to order plates is there's no sense in running things through the die cut machine more than you have to. So see, aren't they cute? They're nice and little, stitched and fun shapes. So we've got that. Now we're gonna take this fun paper and I'm gonna run my hearts through it. It doesn't need to be straight on here, it just needs to be on here because it cuts the hearts out. Like if you're not, the rectangle piece itself is going to end up being waste. So don't worry about it being straight on there. So I found if you roll it through twice, it's really hard to get these puppies out of here. So just make sure that it's cut. You can see that it's cut, and if it's cut, then stop. Otherwise, you press it in there and it's really hard to get out because it's cut so well because it's paper. And then for my second card, I'm gonna do this now. I've taken 2 pieces and this is cut like 3 3/4 by 5. And then this is one of the shapes out of it as well. And I've got 2 of them. And if you saw my other one, you know that this will cut through 2 pieces of cardstock at once and will almost cut 3 because we did I don't know why I keep forgetting. We've like made the name of the card up and now I can't remember what we called it. A flip card. We made a trifold flip card at our demonstrator event in September, and so I recreated it with the birthday bonanza. So this is going to be for my second card. So now we've got these little pieces that are actually scrap, but you can keep them so you can use them for something else. Hi Lisa, thanks for sharing. Hi Heather. And then with that, I'm going to pull these out. And then one of my favorite things, and who knew, because every year it seems like with Celebration, there's one thing that you assume going in is going to be your favorite, and then it's not. Like I really love the meerkats and they're super fun. But this folder is called Stone 3D, and it's kind of hard to miss because it is a $100 purchase because it comes with a stamp set. And it comes with like an Oriental Japanese kind of stamp set. And I got it, and I have not used the stamp set yet, but I have used the heck out of this thing. I use it all the time. Actually, I'm gonna use it in a minute because I do need to use it with another piece. I thought maybe I could get all of my die cutting done at once. Okay, so we're done with that. So I'm gonna take this piece, and you can see what I mean about this is the scrap, so it doesn't matter if it's straight on there. And this piece just pulls off. This is why you don't want to roll it through twice because your designer series paper will like get mushed in there. And you want something because, you know, I told you I'm using the thing that says this calls for confetti. So I want to keep all of my confetti pieces. So I'm going to lay it over my little tray here and roll it out. Now with this die, some of the hearts, there's probably, whoops, one of them's flying over. There's probably 5 or 6 of them that stay in, like they're part of the thing, the design. So don't keep poking them because some of them are meant to stay there because they don't come out. But you can see one roll is perfectly enough. If you do it twice, thinking you're gonna get it, well, trust me, I did it. You don't want to do that because it's just been stuck in there, and this part of it is like it wedges them down in there. So now you can see this one here, it stays in there because it's not designed to come out. It's a whole heart. And you can see these are kind of in here already. With cardstock, it comes out easier. It's just because the designer series paper is paper. And you don't want to pull it and pop it out. I thought about having one pre-done, but then I thought, no, because I want you to see that it's not hard. It's just a tad bit fiddly. It's just that you don't know what's attached and what's not attached until they're all lifted up. Almost there. This is by far the longest part of making this card. And that's part of the reason I wanted to get 2 cards out of it. Because if you're going to spend this much time taking this out, you want 2 cards. I think That's it. There we go. It's super pretty. So see, it's just very, very delicate. Move this out of the way so you can see it a little bit better. So it's just really, really, and I want all my hearts. Don't know what that came from because that's not a heart. If you have a bigger, I should have gotten a paper plate or something so these would all fall into it. But all of these came out mostly with this. And then you can see these ones here are just whole ones that are part of the design. If you didn't have those whole ones, it would be even harder to get out of there. So now let's do what I did to get this mounted on here. Again, because it's delicate, I'm going to mount this onto this white piece. So all of the places where there's a full heart, I just added some adhesive. And my daughter was still here at that point, and she suggested that I used fine tip glue or the liquid glue. And you could, except because I knew I was going to be filming, I wanted to run it through the die cut machine, through the embossing folder, with that one I just showed you, through the stone. And I didn't want to wait for it to dry. If you're doing it at home, you could do it and put a little bit more glue on everything. But this is going to hold it fine, and I'm going to be able to do it right away. So that's why I chose the snail as opposed to glue. So just kind of lay it. And it doesn't have to be perfect on, like straight, because it's just an abstract design. So now you can see all of the ones that have the solid hearts are stuck, and all of the other ones are kind of lifted up. So now I can get my die cut machine back. And it does need the blue plate or some shims if you still have the old ones. And you'll want to put it up right side, and the Stampin' Up, of course, is the right side up. So this is going to smash them all together, which helps how those were all kind of flittering up in the air. They won't be doing that anymore. So run that through. And it matches the paper nicely, which wasn't my intent. My intent was just kind of get it to smash down on there. And this folder is new, and it happened to be laying here. But now you can see it's smashed them down, and they're kind of all laying there nicely. And then I'm going to take, you know how we had 2 of these that I ran through for my other card. I'm just going to take 1. I'm going to do the same thing with it. And you want to make sure that you run this through seam side first, because mine has been used a lot because we used it on 3 or 4 projects when my demonstrator were here. And so it's already been used a ton of times, and you can see it's starting to fold on itself. So I can start using it upside down, but always go seam through first or it could break. So this will be for my second card. That's the confetti card. And I think that is now all of the die cutting. So now I have some Highland Heather. Just a half sheet of that. Now this is going to go together super fast. So I'll do adhesive. Put this piece on here. And then I've got the I Can't Thank You Enough. I'm going to add some dimensionals. Normally I throw my scraps in there, but since I want to use that confetti, I'm not going to. And this is going to help hold down a couple of the ones up there. Then I'm just going to take my adhesive. Nope, wrong. I'm going to take my tiny dimensionals, the little baby ones, and I'm just going to add them to some of the larger hearts. So just some random ones. Kind of space them so they're not all in one spot. And I'm going to take these over here that I've popped out, and you just kind of match up the parts that are kind of the same size. They don't have to be perfect, but flip them over so you get the pink side. So it's the back side And all of these I didn't get the backs off of because that's what I was literally doing when I glanced over to my screen and saw that Facebook said I was no longer live. So if you can hear me, somebody give me a thumbs up so I know that you can hear me. So frustrating. I had a bad feeling before I ever started today because after our experience yesterday and then just seeing a couple of my girlfriends having issues, I was like, no, this is... And it's also kind of gray and gloomy here in Indianapolis, which never seems to help our internet coverage. Which, you know, on any other given day when you're not actually working, you don't notice if it drops in and out. So I'm just sticking these on here, and so they'll just be raised up a little bit. And it's a nice little bit of pink contrast. So there you go. There's one card. And then I pulled out, these that I don't use very often are the 2019-2021. And I was going to get the catalog because they're from the annual catalog. And I was going to check to make sure that they are current. But I'm assuming since they're 2019 to 2021 that they are. And not all of the colors match, but the purple posy does. So just add one of those. And then the designer series paper that I use does have this nice green in it. I don't think it's tied. What's the new green in color? I haven't used it for a minute. Spruce. I think it's spruce. So there you go. That's a super quick. I like the color combination. Again, not colors I would necessarily put together myself, but because the paper has them. So that's one card. So then it left me with the original, this calls for confetti, and I had the confetti. And so then I was like, how am I going to get the confetti on the card? I wanted it to be confetti-ish. I didn't want to glue it to the card, and that would, frankly, didn't sound like fun anyways. So we got this card. So I had the thought of using the little bags. So these are the bags that come with the birthday bonanza, and they're long. So the first card that I did when I made the card, I took it and I folded it in half. And I actually, on the one that I did, I used the one that didn't have the little bottom. Because obviously when you cut it in half, one of them's not going to have a seam. So it works because you'll see the one I've already made has no seam and it still works. So these obviously have the confetti look, and it goes with the party. It's kind of a grown-up party kind of look because the colors are not necessarily a kid kind of thing. But these are the two pieces, since now my video has been chopped in half, that I ran through together. And this is the same folder, or same dies that go with the stamp sets. So you're going to just take your snail. And I just made sure on the one where they didn't have the seam that I put lots of snail down here. So it was kind of really sandwiched in here. So the first time, don't put any at the top. And you're going to put this in here. Like this. And this is why I don't have any at the top yet. We're going to kind of open your little baggie up. Just dump all your little hearts in there and kind of leave them in the middle. And then just flip this up here because you don't want them to sag all the way to the bottom because nobody wants their confetti all sunken. And then take this and again line it up to make sure that it's going the right direction. So it goes here. It goes here. So again, you're going to want to put this on this piece because it doesn't stick to the bags. So get it nice and close to the edges to keep your bag sealed and secure in there. And then also add some to the edges to keep the panel down. Hi, Heather. Can you hear me? And then just sandwich this back in there. Just like that. And then I have some of my dyed ribbon. This is the polka dot tulle. I dyed it Mambo, which I don't know if that's the green. I don't even know if, I mean the pink that I used. This is lipstick, but it works. When you dye that, thank you. I'm glad that somebody can hear me. Stupid internet and Facebook and all of technology. So just take this. This isn't any kind of fancy bow. And just tie a knot here. The fun of this is having the window and all of the little confetti pieces on the bag, and then the confetti pieces inside, and the little dots on the ribbon. It gives you lots of fun textures that you get to see everywhere, because you can see them through the window, in the window, behind the window. So just one knot. And then kind of separate these on the edge so you get to see both sides of your ribbon. You can see your stuff kind of shakes. Just trim that a little bit. Add a little bit more adhesive up here because it's not stuck together. Once everything's sandwiched together, then there's no way for those to come out. But so you do want to make sure that you've sandwiched that better than I did then. And then I've got some Pool Party. Is that the color I used? Yes, I did use Pool Party on that. I kind of just took these over, but because it is gray and gloomy, even though I have my studio lights on, my office isn't very bright today. So sometimes the colors aren't exactly what I would choose once it gets sunny. Put this on here. And then put some dimensionals on this. And then, even though it took me a while to pop that first thing out, which it won't take you as long when you're not talking and looking at a camera and trying to see if Facebook has not cut you off. You get 2 cards then. And once you've done the actual work, the rest of this, you see, doesn't take long at all. So we have this fun little shaker confetti just with those little bags, so you really don't have to do a lot of work at all. And then we have this one. So here's the other 2 I made. So from one bag, you get 2 cards, and from the one die, then you get 2 different cards. So super fun. And again, that's got a lot of different pieces. It's got the So Sentimental bundle. I can't remember what the bundle itself is called, but these are the dies that go with it. Oh, and I did forget, I did add just a little bit of Wink of Stella across these. It kind of brightens them up, which I know you won't be able to see until I take a picture and put it on my website. Then you'll be able to see it a little bit, but it kind of adds a little bit of sparkle to those. So super easy.